All right. I should be live now, but I gotta change the thumbnail. So give me a second to do that, okay?
All right, fine.
So what's up? I'm gonna change the thumbnail, and then we're gonna be live. I have my homeless man in the studio. He's off camera. He doesn't want to be on the screen, but let me just change the thumbnail. We'll get this started in a second. Yeah, okay. So let me just save this over here. Man, you rushing me, bro. You rushing me.
How the fuck am I? I'm just standing here. How the fuck am I?
Easy, 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 easy.
That's
Okay.
on you, man.
Okay, okay, easy. All right, you're right. Okay, so let me change.
me.
All right, wait a second. I'm changing this now.
Okay,
Oh, we got. Okay, I'm watching myself.
Okay, Mr. Ukraine.
Ukraine. Why am I Ukraine?
Because you said I'm rushing you.
Ah, you funny. You funny.
I'm sorry, man. Ukraine is fucking tragedy, okay?
Listen, I don't know what the fuck is going on there, man. I don't trust in none of that. Anyways, let me change the thumbnail, okay? And then we'll be ready to start as soon as I change the thumbnail.
It's the same as the fucking homeless situation. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't fucking like refugees to the United States for fucking fun.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, so okay, the thumbnail I believe has changed. I believe that we are live. Check it. Okay, so we are live. So check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a very special interview because the incidents, what's going on in the homeless shelter, people hear about, they don't really know about. So let's talk about it. First of all, as you know, I'm an advocate in the field of public housing. I've actually said that I am actually homeless myself. And actually, I know other people that are homeless myself, people that are quite close to me. And right now, it's actually difficult for people, especially men, to get into the public housing system. Can you tell me about that?
Well,
my guest is actually choosing not to be on camera. He doesn't want to be revealed. That's fine. There's a lot of people
yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. Because it's like they tell you that they ain't gonna retaliate. Guess what? It's like, you know, when you walk up in a place and they got like written down the rules that there ain't gonna be no retaliation, you're gonna be a little bit nervous. You're like, why they gotta like write a rule? Why they gotta call attention to it? And like,
Because, yeah.
there's a lot of good people in the system. Don't get me wrong, okay? But a lot of people just kind of stand by, and then there's a few like real, like messed up people in the system, like for real, and they
Yeah.
will. It's like they'd be like, oh, you trying to make me look bad? Like then they try to make it personal and shit. You'd be like, dude, it ain't about you. It's just like, you know.
And when the bad things go down, they don't really stand in the way. They just
They
kind
don't
of
even
let
stand. They doing the bad stuff to you, like half the freaking time.
Okay.
And it's
So-
like, whatever, man. Like
So-
we ain't here to talk about that. We here to talk about like public housing in that situation. Okay, so
Okay.
like
So
single
you're a
adult
single
males.
man. Go
right?
ahead. Yeah, break it down.
Okay, single adult males. Let's see. So there's different kinds of programs, right?
Mhm.
And one thing I want to say is like families, from what I hear, are prioritized, and that's important because you know you got to take care of the children, right?
Yeah.
And the public housing situation right now, it's overburdened. You know, it's not just because of the refugees. No, 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 no. Okay, it's not. It was stressed out to begin with. Like
You
it
don't have to
couldn't.
yell. You don't have to yell.
Okay,
Just
right,
speaking
right,
this
right, okay.
directly probably better. Yeah.
All right, you know, I just like
It's
you.
okay. Yeah, I know you're worried about the mic. Your mic is coming out.
Right. Okay. So
go
yeah,
ahead.
thank you. Okay. No, it's like it's not the refugees from Ukraine or anything like that. Like, let's not blame those people. The fact is, this like the housing situation, there wasn't enough housing to go around to begin with. All right, and it's just like that. That's how it is. So you know, please, if you're homeless or something like that, if people are talking hate against people from Ukraine, just drop that nonsense. Like, you know, it ain't their fault. You know, like we all try to get a
Wait a second. Okay,
Right.
I heard about migrants coming in from Venezuela. I didn't. Is there some kind of like influx of people coming from Ukraine? I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
There, there
yeah,
is?
yeah. It's like
In
yeah.
the shelters?
So what?
In the shelter, you see like Ukrainian
No,
people
no,
coming
no,
in?
no, not in the shelters, not yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's like apparently
heard
like, you
about
know.
it?
So what?
Have you heard about it?
I just
I
heard
didn't
like, you
hear
know,
about this
they
Ukraine
just
stuff.
like they're just trying to like get in wherever they can. And as far as like
Ukrainians?
busting them.
Ukrainians? Really?
Say what?
Ukrainians? Really? Where's all this Ukrainian talk coming from? I'm just.
It's
Is
just like
something going
it's
on?
just
I don't
stuff that goes around at the shelter, okay? And like people are talking about the migrants, like, you know, like that are getting busted in from Texas and stuff too.
But that's
It's like-
from Venezuela. That's from South
From
America. not
Venezuela,
from-
I don't know, like Venezuela,
from
Mexico,
Ukraine.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
But where's
whatever
all
they
this
be
Ukraine
coming
talk
from
coming
Texas or whatever. Say what?
Where did all this Ukraine stuff come
It's just talk that goes on at the shelter. You know what I'm saying? Like people trying to be blaming other people, but like, oh, there's not enough housing. Like, you know, oh, it's the Ukrainians. Like, you know, it's racial prejudice, or like, oh, it's some like,
oh, so
you know,
they
other
saying.
people.
So wait a second.
Yeah.
So you saying that they given the public housing to the Ukrainians?
No,
and not
no,
to
no.
the-
I'm not saying that, man. I'm not saying that. I'm just
Okay.
saying that there's a lot of there's a lot of hotheads, and there's a lot of chatter that goes around. But when you dig into it, you know what I'm saying? There
Yeah.
ain't no substance. It's like you ask them like, okay, look, like what specific housing is being like, you know, denied to Ukraine? Like, where's the source? Like, where can I back this up? Because you know a lot of bad information goes around, and you got to know what's reliable. You know, it's like you can't just be acting on bad information. That's just no good. And it's like
Okay.
it always turns out that it's just like they're talking out of their ass. You know, they just be hating.
Let me look on the screen right now because I do believe I'm as far as I know it's
But
Venezuelans that came. It
you
was
know,
mostly Venezuelans from.
let's not get into the Venezuelan thing, okay? Like, frankly, like let's just
But
not
what are
talk
the
about it.
Ukraine? I
We
just
don't
heard.
got to talk
This is my
about the
first time hearing about
Ukrainians. We don't
Ukrainians.
got to talk about
Okay,
the
so
Venezuelans.
let's.
We
So okay.
basically, I'm
So
just saying,
wait. So
when you have additional people coming into the shelter system, it's not those people that are causing the shelter system to like have issues, which is what's being said by some politicians and stuff. The fact of the matter is, the housing situation was overburdened to begin with. To begin with, okay. You
okay.
see?
Wait. So let's go back to the okay. So the situation. So it's a single man. They're prioritizing the families, which you agree
Right.
with.
Which I agree with. You know,
Then,
like you
okay,
got a kid, you
so
got to
go
get him
on,
out of
right?
that
Yeah.
situation.
So
right?
besides the families, also, right? Would you say that women are also prioritized before men, or is it not really that way?
Yeah, it's like, you know, victims of
Especially if they have
domestic
children, right?
victims of domestic violence and stuff.
Okay.
And you know, like I respect that, okay? And like I think like elderly people, like sometimes they get some like preference too, but again, like, you know, like seriously, come on, you know what I'm saying? You got an old ass guy who's like living in a shelter, which is kind of rough. But the fact is, and I should throw this in too, all right? I know
You don't
some
need to
guys who are
speak so
older.
loud. You don't need to, you see how loud I'm speaking.
Okay,
You can
okay,
speak
okay,
in my
okay,
language.
okay,
You
okay,
like
okay,
you
okay,
yell,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, you
Go
want to do
ahead.
this interview? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you
mean,
know I'm
yeah.
gonna talk loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
You
know
can
you
if
don't
you
want to
want
spread
to.
the
You can
business
if you
around.
want to. Yeah, maybe because you want to make the point, but
All
I'm
right,
just saying
well,
like the mic is
all right,
picking
all
you
right.
up, just so you know.
Okay, okay, thank
All
you. But something else I should say is like some of the shelters that they got for the old people, I can say like, you know, like some people have been telling me, like reliable people whose information has been proven true before.
right. Wait a second.
They
Wait
tell
a
me
second. Wait a
the
second.
situation is bad.
All right.
Yeah.
So, actually, just to so you guys know, there are separate shelters for people with COVID, but are you just told me shelters for old people? Are there
Yes.
separate shelters for the elderly? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes.
And
It's a
are
recent thing
these
apparently. Like
oh, okay?
this.
And are these shelters also associated with disabled, or is it just elderly and disabled, or is it just
It's like
I didn't know
supposedly
that.
elderly,
Okay.
but you'll get elderly disabled in there too. But the thing is,
Ah, okay.
the system is kind of overtaxed to begin with.
Okay.
And even though people are trying, okay, with their limited budget and everything, you know, it's like some of the workers are trying very hard, but the infrastructure isn't necessarily there. And
Okay.
then, yeah, like, you know, I'm
So
not going to try to get into that too much.
one of the things is that as a public housing advocate, right, I'm trying to get my friend here into the public housing system, right, because the 30% income stuff like that, my man's been struggling for a while, and this might be able to help him. You know, it's a certain amount of security, right? He wants to be a productive member of society. He's trying to better himself, and but the thing is that the public housing system right now we're fighting for 30% of your income, and then there's also privatization going on. So the thing is that, right, this person's really struggling with the decision to move into public housing. First of all, it's hard for him to get in, number one. Number two, if he gets in there, he's told me about another program that's never not so much in public housing, but it's very similar. City FEPS and Soda. What is City? Can you explain to my listeners what City FEPS and Soda is?
Well, the thing is like, maybe you could edit some of this together like later, but it's like,
I
what's the
could.
directed message? Like right now we're kind of like sprawling around the place, like, you know,
Okay.
explaining city FEPs and soda. It's like a lot of people already know what city FEPs and soda are. And like, you know, there's income discrimination. I could just talk about that all day, you know, like just
Okay.
like, just like
The reason why,
ridiculous.
because I'm trying to show, right? I have my own agenda that I'm trying to put forth,
Mhm.
and it's trying to help people understand the difficulty that people in the homeless shelters or the people that are homeless, um, people have as in terms of accessing public housing. Then, also, even though I'm advocating for public housing in this bent, people that are actually homeless, I have trouble convincing them going to public housing, and even myself, I see problems with it because we haven't really locked in the 30% of the income thing. So if I push this person to go towards a public housing solution, that solution might end soon.
Yeah, we gotta stop.
So
We gotta stop talking about this push business, okay? Because like seriously, now
yeah,
like look, okay, like
okay,
this fella right here, you know, this activist DJ L7, like you know, he's sincere, and a lot of what he says checks out. Okay, so we gotta respect that. But the thing is, when you're in the system, all right, all the time people are supposedly trying to help you. Okay, they don't listen to you. They don't care about what you want. They don't care about whatever. It's like they have like a solution. Whereas like they're like, okay, we're gonna put you in a neighborhood that's filled with like, you know, gang activity and violence, and that's gonna be cool. You know, you're gonna love it there. I'd be like, dude, okay, like please, like let's just not do. No, no, like you know, you don't know what you're talking about. I've placed tons of people, and you know, only a couple of them died, and like just like all this shit, you're like, And it's like they don't like openly tell you that people died. Like you ask around and you dig it out of them,
Let's
and
talk
then
about
they have to
okay.
admit it.
Let me just talk about. There's a
Yeah.
specific situation going on with some place called what is it? Far Rockaway. Now, actually, people that I've talked to, and I'm going to bring on my channel soon. I'm actually supposed to go out to Far Rockaway to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people from the shelters are being pushed into Far Rockaway,
That's right.
but there's a lot of problems going on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're also a huge flood zone, right? And they're actually scheduled to. It's known that there's going to be problems with flooding and stuff like that. Supposedly, a lot of the flood barriers that they have are incomplete. You could see video of that. You could see leaking, other problems. But once again, the workers at the shelter are incentivized to push people towards the Far Rockaway so they can check off their box and
That's
say
right.
they served someone.
It's no joke. It's just like you'd be like, okay, I don't want to go to Far Rockaway. Like everybody knows that Far Rockaway. Like there's a few people that go there voluntarily because they're mad desperate, or maybe they got like family near there. But like generally, it's just no. You don't go to Far Rockaway. Just like, but then it's just like you'd be like, I don't want to go to Far Rockaway, and the shelter worker would be like, yeah. It's like, oh, let me tell you about this great place. And he'd be like he'd be like, oh yeah, like like you got to get in started on the application process. You know, like yeah, where's this apartment? Where's this apartment?
No, remember, yeah,
Oh,
the
guess
worker
what?
is not
It's Far
the
Rockaway.
worker is not incentivized to really. Now, if you told that worker that they would have to move Far Rockaway, they might be all of a sudden looking into the actual conditions there. But remember, their job is not to investigate the conditions, make sure it's a, humanless living conditions. They're there to check the box and say they moved people through the system and
Yeah,
they successfully,
yeah, and it's like
did whatever.
it's
Yeah.
like the way that they fix it on Far Rockaway is just so weird, man. It's like Far Rockaway in the Bronx, and it's just like no matter what you say, you'd be like, okay, I got a job in Queens. Oh, you're gonna love it in Far Rockaway, man. It's like, are you not hearing me? Like you don't have to, like you don't disrespect them to their face, but it's like
Okay.
inwardly you're thinking like I just told you like like I got this job in Queens, or like like I'm trying to work in Brooklyn, or like like I'm trying to like get access through Central Manhattan, like good transit. They don't care, man. It's just like Far Rockaway, like it's like they're getting kickbacks
All right,
or
so
something, like for real, they're getting kickbacks or something, because it's just like they won't even acknowledge what you're saying. It's just like they'd be like like just like anyways.
well, right. Sometimes their bosses
Moving on.
just told them that this is the solution, right? And once again, it's their job. So
No, it's
yeah.
not even just their job. You got to understand. It's like when you're talking to someone like a human being, okay? Like you got to acknowledge on some level that they're a human being, that their words are coming out of their mouth. The way that some of these people be treating you, you ain't a human being. You just someone to be moved to Far Rockaway. You ain't even a someone.
So
You're just
yeah,
something.
there are some other people. There's quite a few people at Far Rockaway. Shout out to Racist Scott. Shout out to Amber. I'm gonna be doing interviews with them. There's the Far Rockaway clique is one. We actually pulled up a bus there and we took people there to DC, and we also had 4 people come from Far Rockaway specifically to speak at the NYCHA hearing. So I have actually really, okay relationship with people at Far Rockaway. I'm going to keep developing that. Right, I have a lot of things cooking, but
Yeah.
there's definitely issues going on there. So
Yeah.
that's a hot point right now.
Oh yeah.
In terms of just what's going on right now. But
One thing I want to mention is I don't want to be disrespecting anybody from Far Rockaway. Okay, there's good people in Far Rockaway. Okay,
right.
I know like whatever couple, but and like there's areas of Far Rockaway that are nicer. But what I'm talking about, the areas they be moving people, they be like specifically not nice. Okay,
We're
like
about to
not
investigate
nice.
that. Yeah, and I'm actually have been in talks with people, and when I said let's move on. Yeah, Far Rockaway is one specific instance, but this has been going on for a long time. Right, there's a lot of they actually this is a new form of apartheid, right? They're actually guiding communities. They're guiding the undesirables to live in one community.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
communities that are known to be like possibly flooded or going to be having other problems, right? Newburgh is another example of a community that has large environmental
Yeah,
problems.
that's right. 2021. Check out the lawsuit about Housing Rights Initiative. Housing Rights Initiative 2021 lawsuit, racial discrimination, income discrimination. Okay, it's like Staten Island 2022. Like there's like there was something done recently. Shoot, I wish I got the article. I gotta send it to you. But it's like they were doing racial discrimination for that too. It's like
Yeah.
it's like when you're talking about
It's a new form of apartheid. It's controlled communities.
that's right. It's like they be pushing people into the specific areas. They be trying to screw with you, and like all kinds of people, they actually believe, like a lot of like people, like genuinely nice people, they actually believe that racism doesn't exist in this day and age, because they'd be like, oh, like, oh, I'm white, whatever, like I ain't seen no evidence. Even like like Asian people or black people or like like Latino people, It's like they'll say like, oh, racism don't exist because they don't see it. You
Okay,
got to
so
do the double
yeah,
blind, okay?
so look, being around this crazy life, I mean, yo, just look at this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yo, I be dealing with some of this street stuff. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is that some people in public housing are sick of the people doing the drugs and pissing in the elevator and fucking it all up. And
That's
they
right.
want to have, right? They want to have people like this guy over here that's trying to make his life better, and they're looking for people like that to join their community, maybe like a resident management council or something like that. Somehow,
Right.
maybe to give this guy like a position of ownership or something like that, which would be, you know, a once in a lifetime opportunity, even possibly worth close to $1 million, maybe even more than $1 million in some cases, depending on which development they were moving into.
Yeah, it would.
But um, this my man over here was, and I've come to realize that there's so many things he's dealing with, and so many people all the time like throwing all this stuff at him with these different things that it's really hard for him to focus on this. And to tell you the truth, I can't even really promote it so strong myself because it's kind of like a shot in the it's kind of like a it's a shot in the dark at a moving target. You know, it's very difficult to hit.
That's right.
Right now,
Let's explain what that means, because you know what I'm saying?
public housing
Let's
has
explain
been
what
right
that
ended
means.
across the country, and New York City is one of the last places to really have it in place. There are some places in the 964 regs, right? That's the public housing manual that says that was set up pretty nicely actually with a lot of there's something called the City Council of Presidents, which is all the 10 associate presidents.
Okay, hold up here. Hold up here. You be talking about all these like arcane terms, okay?
Okay,
People got to understand like
it's not arcane;
all
it
over
still
the
exists.
all over
They
the
just had
country.
their
No,
election.
no, look, just listen, okay? Look,
Okay.
people all over the country be saying, "Oh, look, but we got public housing in our area."
No, they
But
don't actually. It's ended.
right,
It's affordable housing now. It's
right,
almost done. New York City is one
right,
of the last
right.
places with public
So
housing.
what we talking about?
All the language changed to
Okay,
affordable housing.
son, just like
Okay.
let's hold up here.
Okay.
So the thing is, okay, when this gentleman and myself, we be talking about like like affordable housing, we talking about you own your home, okay? You own your home, like
Wait, wait, wait,
whatever
wait,
you
wait, wait, wait,
prosper.
wait,
No,
wait, wait.
no, no.
Who says you own a home in affordable housing?
I didn't say that. Like whatever the fuck. I'm talking about the traditional thing, like where lower income people got like the right to like own their own property and stuff like that. Okay.
That's not always the case.
That's like,
Usually it's owned by big developer and they
that's how it is nowadays. But I'm saying that like there's a shift away from that. So when a lot of people be hearing like affordable housing, like public housing, like whatever stuff like that, they'll be thinking like, oh, like this is a continuation of what we had in the past. No, it's like it's all different now. People don't got
yeah.
rights. They don't own the property. It's like you be talking about what's the name of that like
That wasn't necessarily wait, okay. Remember that public housing is owned by the government, not owned by you specifically.
look, what's the name of that? Shoot, there was this project back in the '60s, like in New York City, and it's like you can get like lotteries for the housing, like the Magnolia or something like that.
Okay.
Shoot, you don't, fuck, like see, it's like that's the thing about doing a live thing, okay? Like you got to prepare, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to have like all your sources ready. Let's just fucking move on from this shit, okay? Because like obviously it's whatever the fuck.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I know it's tough too. You don't really do a lot of live streams and stuff, so it's you could get cut off. But
No,
the
no,
fact
it's
of the
like
matter is that
I'll
let's
say like you got to
okay.
prepare.
So
yeah.
the thing is that for someone in the shelter system, right, it's very difficult for him to get into public housing, and also it's hard for me to recommend him to move into public housing, even despite that I'm such a strong advocate for it, right? Now there are some resident management councils that are dealing with people that are violent and want to get rid of a problem element within their. They want to have some ability to create their own community, right, and have people that are going to be invested instead of just shitting on it and taking advantage. And someone like this is probably someone
That's right.
they
So
would
I
want.
show up here today, okay? And I got my
Okay,
own thing. I got my own schedule that I got to take care of. And some people like
that's right.
they're
You
just
got
talking it up.
so
And then and then
okay.
no, just let me talk a little bit, all right? So some people just be talking it up. They be, oh yeah, I'm so busy, but then they go and they sleep on the ass like whatever 14 hours a day. But some people are genuinely busy. And then you talk to the social workers, and the social workers are used to dealing with people who just be like laying on the ass like 14 hours a day. But I show up and this gentleman's talking about, oh, like you got to get this like outlay and you got to like do this and that and that, whatever the other thing. I mean, look, I ain't gonna figure this out in like less than 20 hours, okay? Like 20 hours a week for like probably a month, okay? I don't
Okay,
got that kind of time.
wait a second, okay?
Right.
So let's the viewers, right? You just glossed over that real easy.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give them a little bit more of an explanation and understand right how they're giving you the runaround, so they understand a little bit better about how difficult it is and why someone in your position really struggles to really be able to spend the time to really hunt down the public housing thing because they got you running in so many circles
Okay, so
all day
first,
long. Go ahead.
now when you're in the system, okay, you gotta you gotta check their little boxes, so to speak. You know,
Can you give us
like
more specific example and like really run it from the beginning to the end? Because you're speaking a lot of generalities and
all
people are
right.
just gonna
So
brush
for
it off.
example, okay,
Yeah.
let's say that you got to report to your caseworker every 2 weeks, okay,
Okay.
and it's
Regarding
like
what?
you're supposed to.
What are you reporting?
Let me fucking get to that, okay?
Okay. Good.
Okay, so you got to report in your job search, you got to report in your apartment hunting, okay? Now, it's like the functional thing is because they're not really doing anything with those reports, all the time that you're spending on whatever, like that paperwork, it's just kind of wasted time.
Okay.
But
wait a minute. Okay. Now.
could I just finish here? Okay, thank you. Okay,
Wait.
before,
Because
look,
before.
no, not before anything. I got to finish this shit, okay? Yeah, for real. Yeah. Like laugh it off,
Okay.
but this shit is serious. Because one thing you learn in the shelter, okay, is like when you talk bad about someone, okay, no, you got to talk fair. Because like if someone's wrong, they're gonna come back and kick you in the ass some way. So right now, I gotta say, okay, like when I be talking about so-called useless paperwork, yeah, there's a lot of frustration. But the reality is, they have to monitor people to be making sure that they're doing their end, right? So I understand there is a need for that paperwork, and I respect that. So I do it. But
I'm sorry. I want to slow that down for a second, right? Yeah. So before you said that
Alright.
you were talking about the caseworker is going to ask you to provide some type of proof and stuff about your apartment search, and you also said about what else? The job search. So you
apartment
got to look
search,
for these
job
two
search,
things, and you have to keep reporting these things.
right?
Can you give me a little bit more about like, do they ask to show evidence or what
Yeah,
exactly?
some of them, it's
Right,
like,
yeah,
I
because
remember this one lady, she was real insulting and stuff. She'd be like, oh, you got to, this shit was ridiculous, okay?
so
She'd be like, oh, you got to schedule with us 24 hours in advance when you want to go to an apartment viewing. And I'm like, lady, you understand, okay? Like some of these apartment viewings, they be popping off like 9, 10 hours later, okay? Like you check, you get out, it's like, if you can check your email, okay? I'm blessed to be able to be checking my email and stuff. It's like I'm blessed to be able to like use websites. You know what I'm saying?
wait,
But
okay.
once I get the notice, yeah, go ahead.
So there's a lot of things that right just from other conversations I've had with you that I just want to like not all the shelters have access to Wi-Fi.
That's
Not
true.
All the, not all
That's
the,
true. They don't.
right? They can't check your email. So there's a lot of other things that and the city thefts we didn't really get to explain what that is. Some of my viewers know about it. A lot of them don't. Just so you know. But
But
you
we
know,
ain't here to
we're
talk
gonna
about city
gloss,
thefts right now,
but
right?
it would be nice. But at least we're getting some ideas. So once again, right? Yeah. So you're right. But people don't really. You're glossing over some of these specifics that people need to
Yeah,
know
I'm
about.
glossing.
You know what I mean?
I'm glossing
But-
over it
but
because
this
we got to
is-
get to the
but-
point. We got to get to the point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, wait.
We
a
got to
second,
have an
okay.
agenda. And
So
shit.
check. So wait, just check this out, right? Think once again. Remember, every 2 weeks you gotta go see your caseworker. They're putting requirements on these people, but they're not providing a way for them to achieve these things, right? Such as
Right.
they say, I want 24. Right, your caseworker says, I want 24 hours notice before you go see this thing. There might be an open house that you just found out about, right? And you can't even get into that. So you have normal people have a hard enough time finding apartment, but you have and we're gonna get to more, right? Yeah, but this guy is lucky to have right his a laptop and right he has
Shut
Wi-Fi.
up! Shut up, dude! You gotta talk about my fucking business. You want me to get fucking robbed and shit? The fuck is wrong with you, man?
Yo, that shit in the shelter's hot. My bad. You know what I mean? All right. So my bad.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
so
for that reality check,
my
okay?
bad. All
I
right.
don't mean to cry about it, but hey, that's the reality. You don't be talking about business like that, you know?
All
You don't
right.
talk about another person's belongings. You don't talk about the business. You don't talk about the work. You don't talk about nothing unless you're there to actually help them in a material way.
I'm trying to.
Then
help
maybe you
bro.
can talk a little bit.
Trying to
Right,
help.
right. But like, you know, like, you don't
Okay.
got to be mentioning
So-
how I got that shit.
So I'm sorry. So
Oh
let's
my
just
God,
keep on
dude.
with the explaining, right? Yeah, because people, right? We could have just glossed over the fact that people cannot access, right? Yeah, or even have a way to send their caseworker 24 hours notice that they're going to check out the apartment. So they're left in this cycle loop where they can never do anything.
Okay, right. But right now we're supposed to be
keep going.
focusing
So keep going.
on the
Yeah.
public housing situation.
No. We're outlining.
No, we're not having this whole flow
the
of consciousness thing,
difficulties.
okay? Like we gotta tamp it down. We gotta focus on the topic, all right? So the fact of the matter is, like, look, there's a lot of things that go into it, right? And it's like, I'm not gonna get into the insulting attitudes, even though I just mentioned in passing, like some of them are like real bad. And it's like, you know, like the time constraints are not necessarily onerous, but it's like if you got a job in addition to that, right? It's like if you got school on top of that. It's like let's not even talk about family commitments, okay? All these things are going to eat up your time.
Wait. Okay, you said let's not go on the flow of thing, and I agree.
Okay.
Let's finish up this idea because we're really talking about, right, the difficulties that you're experiencing,
Right.
such as this every 2 weeks you have a thing with your caseworker. You're seeing them for the job
No,
thing
no, no.
and the apartment
It's like
search. And
these
explain
things.
to me, right,
Some of
more of
that
those.
stuff.
Right,
Some of that stuff is
that's really all
trivial.
that's going down. So
But
let's
it's like
finish
the
that
thing
up.
is like a lot of
It,
times, okay, like
that
they'll
wasn't trivial
assign
right
someone.
there, right?
They'll assign someone. No, no,
Difficulty.
no, look,
That's for the apartment
just
search. What
hold up,
about the
okay.
job search?
The job search log and the housing search log, okay, that doesn't eat up too much time. But they also throw in additional stuff like as you. They'd be like, okay, they got to have your regular budget letter. They got to have like this.
Wait,
They got to have
what's
like
a
that.
regular budget letter?
Don't worry about it. Let's just say like all the time they be coming at you with stuff that just like
So
eats up your
you,
time.
you expect to just say things like regular
Look,
office letter, and you expect
people
my
know.
audience to understand
People,
what you're saying and
yes,
just put it
yes,
together?
yes.
They can't
People
do that.
know.
They can't do that.
People know what an HRA budget letter is. They know that if you
No,
want a
they
budget
don't.
letter,
No, they don't.
well, we ain't gonna fucking explain it right now because that's another topic. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta focus and stuff. It's
you
like
can't
if I be
explain the
talking
stuff,
about
then it's
if
not
I be
really-
talking about conditions at the shelter, then I'd never fucking shut up and I'd be here for like 7 days straight. And I ain't got that kind of time today. We was just gonna talk about this one topic, right? So let's get on.
What topic do you think we're talking about?
Supposedly, actual homeless man explains. Then I can't read the rest of this title, but it got something to do with like public housing and like how I'm not like actually exploring the things that you're talking to me about. So right now, like basically the flow of the conversation is, look, there are time pressures, there are resource pressures, where even if I think that there's something real in this thing, I can't spend all this time and like whatever resources and just like dig it up. I don't even know like how to get the stuff that this guy's talking about. Like I gotta like go out there on a fishing expedition. In the meantime, I gotta deal with the real stuff. Okay, I gotta deal with the real progress that I gotta make in my life. And it's like I just don't got time to be chasing after rainbows and stuff for a maybe, you know? It's like if someone laid it out for me, like, you know, with a nice document, even then, I don't know if I'd be able to spare the time.
And I think wait.
But like
now,
if I gotta
if I just-
research it all too from
If
the
I could just
get-go.
pause for a second,
Yeah.
I think you said it beautifully right there.
All right.
The thing is that right now I want people who's watching pay attention and just understand that my man right here is like, don't think that he always like popping off, because honestly, right, he's traumatized from all the shit he'd been through, and like you could hear me trying to get to some of that, but you know, like he don't want to talk about because he has like bigger issues he's dealing with. And the fact of the matter is that he's not the only one, but you know, this guy's a very intelligent guy. He's smarter than me, but I know it doesn't really come across very well in this interview right here.
Oh, thanks.
But I mean, you know,
True,
because
though,
you're frazzled,
true,
you're
true.
frazzled, right? But the fact that he's very intelligent, much more intelligent than me, and the fact of the matter is that going through this whole experience of before, like I gave you the example of how the housing thing, right? They put these requirements on you that they don't even give you the ability to fill. So you have these impossible tasks one after the other. You're going to meeting after meeting. You have these workers with these messed up incentives, and then someone comes in trying to tell you, even if someone like myself in the public housing sphere is trying to tell this guy about moving into like different areas that are available, he's just rejected so many bullshit explanations that when a good thing comes across, he's so used to rejecting
No,
bad
no,
things down,
no.
which
It's like that's not even what's going on here.
maybe
Like first, let me reiterate, okay?
okay. Tell me
It's
from
like
your perspective. Go ahead.
okay, the requirement, you got to understand, if you're only doing the housing log, if you're only doing the job search log, by the way, can you move that camera, like, you know, so I don't be covering my hand and shit? Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Okay, so like,
Can't just move your hand, damn it. All
fuck
right.
you.
Either
Okay,
way.
that's right.
Either way. All right, let's go.
All right, so like, all right, so
No problem.
first thing is the housing. If you only had to do the housing search and the like the job search or whatever, it's not going to be that bad. But it's kind of like the stuff that's added on top, plus on top of like your regular life, plus like trying to like get out of your situation, like, and
wait a
you
second,
actually have
okay.
to go out and like view the apartments and everything. Everything chips away at your time. It's just like chip
Yeah.
after chip after chip. And once you're done, like chipping away, there just really isn't anything left where you can't be like, see, like, it's like some people might be like sitting on the ass and they're gonna go watch Game of Thrones tonight, like on the cable or something, and they'd be like, oh, if I was in this situation, like, you know what I would do? I would just like not watch Game of Thrones or something, and like, you know what, I would not go out with my friends, and then I would look at this public housing thing. Look, okay, it ain't
So
like
wait,
that.
wait, okay.
I don't
So
got that
I'm
kind of
gonna tell you
time.
what's gonna happen for my listeners right now, and I want you to calm down for a second.
All right, all right.
I know you're excited. So
All
take
right,
a
all right.
second, take a deep breath, calm down
All right.
for a second. Now the thing is that realize, right, and I know that's frustrating thing about people with the Game of Thrones. But the people at home, they already know about that. What they don't know about is You said that they're chipping away your time. What they don't know
Yeah.
is the specifics of that.
The
So
specifics of
may,
it. It's gonna
wait,
be
wait, let me
different for
finish, right? So
everybody.
maybe
Yeah,
you could
okay.
like outline for me like maybe one day where you had to like take care of so many things that you gave me a good example before, right? That's what my audience really needs, right? They don't need to know that other people watching Game of Thrones are not caring about your shit. What they need to know is some of the
Okay,
hurdles that you
okay, fair enough. You made
experience,
your
right?
point. You
Yeah.
made your point. You made your
Like
point.
for example before, like they gave you that requirement where they need you to give 24 hours advance notice before you can actually go see the apartment, but then there's no way to they would provide for you to actually go see the apartment, right? So, or sometimes
No, no, no.
right. So, or you're missing out opportunity. So, give me an example of
it's
a
not
day.
even that.
Go ahead and tell me some of the difficulties you face.
Okay, so for example, right? Like let's say like on one Tuesday, right? Supposedly I got like a meeting with my caseworker at noon, but she can't like see me whatever like until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Now I ain't gonna hate on her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes things come up that demand their attention, and you got to respect that. But at the same time, you also got to respect if you got your appointment at noon, there's a real chance it ain't gonna happen. If you don't make that appointment, guess what? You got to reschedule it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, so what happens when you have a noon meeting at the shelter, right? Well, guess what, right? Like
This is
you
great.
want to
Yeah,
go
this is
out,
exactly
it's like you got a meeting at the shelter in Manhattan,
Yeah.
right? So was you gonna go out and do something productive in Brooklyn, maybe look for some apartments? Nah. Was you gonna work that day? Nah. You ain't gonna do nothing that day because at noon you got to be back there. Like what you gonna do between like whatever, like 7 o'clock in the morning and like 10 o'clock or something? Like you got this little tiny window. So then like the meeting goes off, the meeting finishes, right? And then you got like the rest of the day. And then what you gonna do? Again, like there's only so much time before business is closed. And people could say, and it's true, you can see an apartment or something like that, but you got to understand, like the regulated, right? When you be hitting up an area and you're trying to look at apartments, you don't try to look at just one apartment on one trip. That's stupid, okay? You got to be looking like 5, 6, maybe 10 apartments in one viewing. It depends, you know what I'm saying? Like you just try to see as many apartments as you can in one go. Like you use up your whole day. That's efficient. But when you got your day split up like this, well, you just ain't gonna do it. And it's like any day is like that. You got like these different appointments in different parts of the city. It's like it doesn't matter if it's medical appointments or a job fair or like whatever, an info session. It's just like your day gets chopped up into pieces
Oh,
and
just
you can't productively control your time. Whereas like you're really like being like majorly productive.
one thing I want to.
Plus, you got to throw in a lot of people don't got access to the internet like I do. So me, I got it like way easier than some people. Okay, way easier.
Let me
okay, way
let me
easier.
also
Right.
just chip in one more thing to that, like he hasn't mentioned, but the fact of the matter is that when you have like either one-time assistance, which is soda, or other programs that are going to help pay for rent, things like that, from the system, there's a lot of discrimination that happens, and they take care of that on the phone. They find out a little better information about you, and probably right. How many times when you make appointments with these real estate agents are they actually showing you the places, or are they bullshitting you when you show up and nobody's there?
Well, I think it's the
Bullshit
same
like
for a
that?
lot of renters. Okay, it's
Okay, go
like
ahead.
a
Yeah.
lot of times like you make an appointment and then they just don't freaking show up. It's like they have no reason not to show up. They just don't show up. Like whatever.
That does happen. Yeah.
That's one thing. But
Also,
everybody
because
got to
right,
deal with that.
because these guys are looking for the lower end apartments. The apartment that rents for hire is going to be. So I worked as a real estate
Truth.
agent before,
Yeah, he made a
and the
good
thing
point
is that
there.
right, you gotta like you could rent a $5,000 apartment that's going to get you a $5,000 fee, or you can rent this $1,000 apartment which is going to get you $1,000 fee. You dump the $1,000 client for the $5,000 client. You have both of the strings
Truth.
out there,
Truth.
but you biting on that one. So
That's truth.
they getting hosed on. Besides, right, the discrimination for being like low income. Besides the discrimination, right, for being like in the shelter, right, which they try to find a way to get at that, right,
Mhm.
and the other things of, you can see that these people have so many things piled against them. Like,
Right.
how can you fucking win?
And it's like
keep going,
yeah, and
keep
it's
going.
like
You're doing great.
I don't mean to cry about it or
No,
nothing. That's just the
that's
reality
just what
that
people
everybody
gotta
got to
know.
deal with.
This is
Right.
what people gotta know.
Right, but that's just the reality. You
ahead,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like your day gets chopped into these little pieces, and you can't be too productive about it. And like what you're gonna do? You're gonna cry about it? Forget about it. No, you just gotta go and you gotta work your ass off.
Yeah.
But like you ain't necessarily gonna get ahead as quickly as you'd like. And it's like there's another thing. Like once you manage to get in contact with one agency, like a lot of times, like look again, I could make the excuse that the system's overworked, which is true. But some people they genuinely don't give a crap, and like they'll give you the runaround. They'll deliberately waste your time. It's like they'll tell you stupid stuff, and you're like, yeah, I should like go down into the subway, like at fucking like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, like with a freaking computer, okay, with a laptop. This is like a genius fucking idea, right here, okay. There ain't nothing bad gonna happen to me at all. It's just like a completely safe thing to do this, like 5 nights a week, okay. You. So I'd be like, what? Like, are you fucking serious here? Like, Jesus Christ, okay. Like people.
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait, okay, wait a minute. Can you please make that right? Your example there was kind of weak, okay? Be more specific with that example, right? Because you're just like they're gonna ask you in the subway for like 5 hours, right, with your laptop.
Right. Oh, okay. Well,
Make
the thing
that
is, like,
make
if you
that
need to,
example
if
more
you want to
clear.
get
It's
Wi-Fi
vague.
access, right?
What,
Well, it's
what
like,
do they ask you to do specifically, and right, how were you unable to achieve that, and why is it unreasonable? Make it more clear. Okay.
okay, so
He's
they ain't got,
traumatized.
they ain't,
Understand?
they ain't
Yeah.
got like Wi-Fi access or whatever, like So, and then they be coming to you with their so-called solutions, right? Now, some of those so-called solutions, like, they're just like badly informed. Like,
Okay.
you
Wait.
respect that.
Instead of just saying badly informed, be specific, right?
Yo, son, I'm about to
Yeah.
get to it,
Let's go.
right? Okay, so for example, right now, I know they're gonna identify me off the ship or whatever. So there was a nice worker, So if she be listening to this, like, hey there, that's right. She proposed like going to the law library. Now it used to be like you could go to the law library, right?
Okay.
But
I did
now
well, right?
it's like the ones that is open during the night, they'd be closed for COVID, and the ones that are open like to the public, I think they close at like 4 p.m. So you can't make like your 6 to 10 p.m. class or whatever. It's like that ain't gonna happen. So the alternate proposition is like you're just gonna sit there in a Starbucks, and I'm like I'm not even sure if Starbucks is gonna be open during the hours. And don't you think it's gonna be weird? Like someone's gonna say something like you're just sitting there
Also,
using the internet and you're not buying anything.
Starbucks also got rid of all the electric outlets. Like you can't find electric outlets at Starbucks no more.
Oh, that's another thing. But
Yeah.
the thing is like, so they're
Do
telling
they
you
still
to
have
do this.
Wi-Fi there?
Like,
They cut it off.
I don't know, but like they're
Okay,
saying
go
like
ahead.
basically like for a solid year they expect you to be sitting in a place not buying anything, using up a seat, and they don't think there's gonna be any flack. And then you'd be like, okay, look, that ain't right to the business.
For real, right?
And then they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, just buy your coffees. Yeah, okay. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
buy some
why-
Starbucks coffee.
why don't I
$5 a
just-
cup. Like yeah. It's
what do you
just-
mean $5 a pop? Okay, yo, it's like $10 for like a little thing. Okay, it's like
I
a
don't
$10
buy
for a little.
Starbucks. I don't know about that
That's
shit. Go
no.
ahead.
The only reason why I know that price is because I saw it in a news article. Some person was like, "Oh, prices are going up," and it's like it's $10 for like a little coffee at Starbucks. I'd be like, "What?"
Oh man, it's dumb.
So it's like forget about it. And so the alternative is like, oh, you don't want to like be in a Starbucks. Like, okay, why don't you just like go to like a subway station? Because I told them, I was like, look, you get free Wi-Fi supposedly in the subways, like the subterranean stations, right? Like that's what I
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I hear.
some
And
of
then
them,
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
link stations. But the fact of the matter is, obviously, that's not going to be secure. If you got a classroom and you're supposed to talk back and forth with people, how are you going to hear in the subway? Because it's real quiet down there too, right? But besides that, even if I can make that work, the fact of the matter is you out late at night and you're toting around this expensive laptop and you're sitting in one place night after night in the same place. It's just like, you're just like a convenient ass target, okay? And people can be like, it's like, even in the safer areas of New York, just don't be stupid, okay? It's like you be like sitting down around with like expensive stuff. What do you think is gonna happen?
Wait, dude said like because you can't get internet access, we want you to take your laptop, go into the subway, and do your classes down there. Yo, it's legit.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
not even during like daylight hours, like it's like whatever, like 6-10 p.m. and stuff. I was like
Okay.
night after night. Like this is like to them, this is like a reasonable solution. They got like a straight face while they do it and shit and everything.
Yo,
I'd be
yo,
like,
man, funny.
I'd be like,
I'm sorry,
no,
man. It's
it's
not funny,
It's not
but
funny at
fucked
all.
up,
It's not
but
funny
yeah,
at all.
it's not
It's
funny.
messed up.
It's funny because it's stupid and like yeah, it's
And the
just,
thing is,
it's
like,
fucked up,
I
yeah.
understand, like, if they said something like, okay, it's messed up and it's dangerous, but, like, you don't really got much choice. This is kind of the situation. Then I could be like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
So,
But they're like, no, this is a good, safe solution for you.
So-
I'd be like,
so-
oh my God.
so if
dude.
you could just hold off for a second because I think they got that.
Okay, they got.
So
Right,
the thing
sure,
is
sure.
that right now, I just want you to understand that people, right, very intelligent people who are inside the shelter system, and this guy's traumatized. Don't think he's like this all the time. The thing is,
I
that
am
it-
now.
he
I'm
is now.
sorry.
I get
am
it.
now.
It's living in a crazy condition will make anybody crazy. And the fact of the matter is that these people have so much they dealing with. You know what I mean? And then people somehow they're supposed to. They have to dig deep and make magic happen, and then maybe take a long shot on this public housing, which is ended all across the United States. And New York City is the last one. And I gotta tell him to maybe like try to get into one of these public housing things, which he can't. Which there's other barriers to him getting in because he's just a single dude,
Exactly.
not part of family.
So
Yo, it's I just want the people in the public housing sector, because this is really who I'm going to be putting this on their things, and ask them to watch this,
Here,
right? Yeah,
let,
because
let me ask you
I'm
something,
beeping with
okay?
them. You know, what I mean, I've been working hard, and I
Okay,
want you guys
so
to
I'll give you 10,
wait, let
no
me
wait, 15 minutes to explain this whole public housing thing to me. You think you can do it in 10, 15 minutes? Nah, right? Whereas
yeah,
I'm
that's fair,
actually
that's
handing
fair.
in my application, because like I can handle 15 minutes, but I think more like what's probably going to happen is like you're going to put me in touch with some resources, and I'm going to have to do some digging. Then I'm going to find out maybe like whatever, like a couple weeks in, like, oh wait, I don't have like the mad capital money that I need to make the outlay to like whatever, like make an investment on this thing,
And
and it's just like be a
as
huge
someone
ass
who's
waste of my time.
and I have to admit, like, from being in the system, like, he right? Like, when I send him to these people, right, there still has to be more investigation that goes on, and he got enough stuff he's dealing with right now.
Right.
So back when I was a during the Obama era, when I was in college and stuff, right, and we were told that this would be an amazing opportunity for people who was possibly living in, for us to empower the people who are poor, right, for us to, make it a gift to people who are actually living there, right, or people who are in public housing. What I didn't realize was the realities people are going through and the other barriers, right? People see the barriers that they talk about. These are not the barriers they really understand. And we got to really get down into the homeless perspective and the public housing perspective to really understand how to take care of these communities. So it's been really eye-opening, and I'm starting to really realize the insufficiency of some of the solutions that I'm proposing for the community, and I really need to reassess how I approach it. So um, I'll be doing some more follow up as time goes on, but I'm glad that we could capture a little bit more of and hopefully expand understanding of what the homeless community is really going through. And just so you know, a lot of people look at my face when I'm in the public housing community. They say, "Why are you helping us?" You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is that they're right to be skeptical, right? A lot of these, we look at Dare to Struggle. That was a group that, all white. I'm not mad at white people, but they're middle class. They're obviously doing well, right? They're telling people to do repairs, and actually, I believe it's a trap to try to push things towards developers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of what do they call it? Astroturfing. That means like it's fake grassroots, fake grass out there.
That's right.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you're not actually talking to homeless people, if you're not actually talking to people in public housing, they look at me and they assume that I'm a middle
All
class
right.
dude.
Yeah. Let me just
I
come
mean,
out with something here. All right. Like a couple things actually. Like first, like
yeah,
the stuff that he's talking about, like the fakeness. All right, it's real. So it's like when some people be talking to people from the shelter, and it's like they feel that they're sincere. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who are supposedly trying to help the homeless people, like they have good intentions and all that.
yeah, they just don't
But the
know.
fact of
Right?
the matter
So
is, like when you be in that situation, and it's like someone's like supposedly trying to help you, like so many times people supposedly been trying to help you, and then just ended so badly. Like you wasted your time, you wasted your hopes, you wasted your whatever. Just like it was a complete freaking waste. So someone new comes along, they'd be like, "Oh look, I want to help you." You'd be like,
fuck that.
"Yeah, right, yeah, sure." Like, fuck you, get the fuck out of this fucking place. Not to swear, I'm sorry.
No, I get
I
it,
shouldn't be
man. I
swearing, but
totally get it.
for
Yeah,
real,
totally get it. Yeah,
and it's like yeah, yeah, that's literally how it is. So it's not like, oh, like it's ghetto to be like, like you got to be street smart, but you ain't like real smart and stuff. No, no. So it's just like the fact of the matter is, you see like time and again, you're just wasting your time with these people who are supposedly trying to help you. That's real.
so look, I know that the right now the council of presidents, right, of all the 10 association presidents of the public housing system might be watching this. I know there's a lot of 10 associate presidents who I have developed relationships with. My dude's in the homeless shelter right now. Are you on the list for public housing even?
Oh,
Are
let's
you on
get
the
to that.
waiting
But
list?
before I get into that, like, shoot, there was something I was gonna say. Like,
So I was told that some people might there's some uh housing developments that are looking to have resident ownership and are looking for high quality people to get into the development. Um, and I'd like to try to help my man out. He's as close to me as anybody could be. I mean, that's just a fact. So
yeah, well,
that's someone I'm looking out
so
for, and
if there
even
any,
myself. You know what I mean?
if there
If
anybody
he
out
can't get
there
help, I don't trust no help from
watching this
myself.
video right now,
Yeah.
and you be implementing policies, I want to say, just like this guy been saying, like right along, okay? It's all good to have these policies, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to do good or whatnot. Maybe you even actually mean well, But if you don't plan it out, how's it actually going to happen from beginning to end? It's like you got this piece of policy that supposedly empowers people to be getting the public housing. How are they going to be informed about it? How are they going to be able to like what informational resources are going to be in their hand? Like how are they going to believe in the reality of the situation? I'm going to take a little side trip here, like the City FEPS program, right? And I'm going to talk about this because this is like another whole topic. Maybe you could make another video. But like a lot of landlords and a lot of brokers, okay?
Wait, okay. Before you get into this, right, I'll
Okay.
tell you like a lot. There's even people in public housing don't know what City FEPS is.
Okay.
I know, like, you assume that people should know these things. They should, but like, is the news going to tell them about it?
Okay,
What is
well,
City
I'll tell you.
FEPS?
Okay, so City FEPS, okay?
Sure.
I forget what the acronym stands for, but basically it's one of these housing voucher systems. Now, some of the brokers and the landlords out there know, okay, that City FEPS has had its issues over the years. Now it's like, I'm sorry, like again, if I'd done some advanced preparation, some documentation that I've got, I don't have it with me. But it's like, for example, there was like, what was his name, LeBaron or something like that, and he's trying to do like landlords who care, and he had a situation where apparently like his City FEPS voucher like stopped paying or something. The situation with that was supposedly like there was some sort of like snafu, and like they sent the paperwork to the wrong place, whatever. But the thing is, okay, so here's a situation for brokers and landlords, okay? And again, I'm talking about the implementation, about why City FEPS doesn't work in practice.
Okay, wait, let me actually what I can do is actually check this out.
Yeah,
right?
actually, why don't we
I can
just cut this
actually-
video and make a new video? Yeah, there
well,
you go. Because
actually,
we
I'll
could
just
talk
chop
about
this
City
up here.
FEPS. Let's talk about City FEPS.
But check this out right here. Look at this. City FEPS right now, I'm going to share it on my screen right now. Okay, City FEPS, they've changed the spelling. But you can see that they have a 1.6 average, rating. It's pretty crappy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And,
a lot of
we can
people
look up
that
that Barron thing as well. This is being shared on, you see how it's being shared on my screen right there? So I can look up the Barron situation. City FEPS Barron, you said?
LeBaron,
LeBaron.
Lebaron, I think.
Sure, okay. Let's take a look.
I forget. It's like whatever. Like he's some dude.
Okay. By the way, I'll just
No,
read off
not
to you right
City
here.
FEPS LeBaron, just LeBaron. LeBaron homeless something. Landlords, no, maybe landlords who care. Landlords who care. Yeah, there you go. Just cut City FEPS out of that, okay? Jesus.
Okay, so
I told you, like,
LeBaron.
he ain't
Oh, okay.
associated with that. I believe his name's LeBaron. I could be wrong.
Okay, there's also a guy named Charles
But
Barron.
I'm telling you, like, frankly, whatever, okay? That ain't his name. Like, I got it at home. Forget it, okay? Like, let's just not dig into it, because, like, we wasting time, okay?
Okay, well, just
If we ain't gonna make, like, it's like, let me just finish what I gotta say about City FEPS, and then we're gonna move on.
let me
okay?
just explain what City FEPS is for people who are watching. City FEPS is a rental assistance supplement according to their own definition to help individuals and families find and keep housing. It's administered by DSS, Department of Homeless Services, and HRA, right? Human Resources Administration.
Okay, enough.
Okay.
Enough. Okay, so let me tell you what
This
it
is the-
actually is. It's full of
okay.
crap, okay?
Okay. All right.
So it's like the thing is, now you got to understand the landlords and the brokers. They want to get paid, okay? Let's respect that. Okay, we don't want to have whatever the frick not getting paid. That sucks. But okay, there's a few legal whatever loopholes, whatever. Like in the laws of the city of New York,
Sure.
if the city doesn't pay on the first of the month, they're supposed to have considered to have been paid, like even if the city pays on the last day of the month, it's supposed to be as if they paid on the first day of the month in terms of like the lease and like not getting like late fees or whatever. Okay. So like some landlords are not informed of this. It comes as an unpleasant surprise. But the more egregious issue is, let's say that City FEPS doesn't pay. Okay. It's like I've heard reports that happens.
Yeah.
Another thing is like before tenants move into the apartment, the apartment has to be inspected. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure I can be identified just off this alone because I've been fighting for this for so hard and so long in my particular shelter. And I'm like, look, people are talking about 3 month and 6 month delays. Okay. The City FEPS program covers up to 1 month. Okay, 1 month of like whatchamacallit, like the client signs the lease, but they don't actually move in because the inspection has yet to be done. Like the city provides for 1 month of payment to the landlord, even while the client is not living there, while the inspection still has to be done. But if it's going to be a 3 to 6 months delay, then obviously they're not going to get paid at all. And that's a problem, don't you think? Like they'd just be sitting on these like apartments that aren't paying. Yeah, and it's like
Wait, so they'll get 1 month out of the 3 to 6, so 2 to 5 months they're not getting paid. Is that what you mean?
at
Okay.
least, and like and then okay, there's like various reported issues. Like people are saying, okay, like city theft, like people they're like kicking holes in the walls and like all these sorts of like druggy behaviors, or like the city theft program, like people are supposed to pay 30% of the income towards rent, and then they're saying like some people like don't do that either.
So people don't want city thefts people in their apartments.
Right. So it's
It's
like
just a huge hassle.
it's not
Yeah.
just so you got to understand
Late
it's not just the
payments.
people. It's not that just people. It's not just the people on city thefts who sometimes are problems. Okay.
Yeah.
Because maybe you could get around that with a good background check, which is like me. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't even get the chance to have them run a background check on you because the moment they hear city thefts, it's just like whoop,
No.
lost your applications. Not well, obviously they don't make it that obvious. They just
Yeah.
be like, oh, we're considering another application. It's just like consistently or like
Plausible deniability.
right, exactly. It's just like, but you know what happens. And I'm not talking like if it happens like whatever, like sometimes okay, but every time. Hundreds of applications, you just like every time. It's like you don't even have to guess. You already know. It's like you've mentioned the voucher, oops, like you ain't getting that freaking apartment, forget about it.
Yeah.
So,
By
right.
the way, this is actually very and if a lot of people, just so you know, in this Section 8 that are moving from public housing to affordable housing with the vouchers and stuff, it's a very similar program. They don't, a lot of them don't know what the future has in hold for them and the mess, right? And they should be listening to people outside, right? The people in this public, they're like, oh, I'm public housing, not in public housing. You know what I mean? Yo, honestly,
So the
we
thing
know
is,
about
right,
this shit. You know what I mean? We're
about
up just because I
so
don't look
about
like
these
it. You know
vouchers,
what I mean?
right? These
Mm.
vouchers, like I'm
Yeah.
saying, there's legitimate reasons why the landlords and brokers don't want to give to City Fep's
And it's
clients,
fair. It's fair too. I get it.
even the
I would want
good
that
City
shit.
Fep's clients who aren't going to make trouble, who are going to pay their 30%.
Because the government's gonna fuck it up. Yeah, they got too much
Yeah,
sense.
like frankly, okay, it's like
Yeah.
it's like instead of going like all that like risky nonsense,
Just
why
find
don't you
a
just
regular
lose the
person.
application, right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's been happening time after time. So my thing is like, look, you need some sort of accountability. Where it's like now me, like when I go in, I'm asking, okay, so I'm asking DHS, who does the applications? Oh, we do the applications. No, wait, we don't do the applications. Like we don't do, no, we're not. The inspections, I mean, we don't do the inspections. The city does the inspections. No, we do the inspections. It's just like a different story every fucking week. And I don't mean I'm talking to different people. The same person, okay? The same person is like flip flopping. You'd be like, damn,
You
okay?
redlining. You screaming. You
Oh,
redlining
I'm sorry.
my shit.
I'm
I
really
mean, it's okay,
I'm
but you
really
redlining.
right,
You know.
right.
All right.
Okay, sorry. Thank you,
No, it's okay.
thank you. That's right. I gotta calm
Yeah.
down.
I mean, yo,
But it's like,
I get it. You've been doing.
it's like, I mean,
You're
it's not funny,
traumatized.
but it's just
you're
like
right,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous. Okay, so it's just like you're trying to get a straight answer. You're like, who do they report to? Like, is there someone that the brokers or the landlords could call? Just like so they actually think that the inspection is going to be done. Like, when you call, I'm talking to the DHS worker. When you call the landlord, or you call the broker. Can you loop me in on that so I know that at least you called them? Because the last brokers and the landlords that I spoke to, that I asked you to contact, like, you didn't contact them because I got back to them and asked them, did you contact them? Like, did DHS contact you about, the inspection process, about like, the various approval? And they're like, no. And it's like, I don't remember getting any kind of call like that. It's like, you're like, that's you just like, why am I wasting my time running around trying to like supposedly apply to these apartments? And the thing is, like, when you talk to like the city workers, they'll say like, look, the vouchers, they just work. Like, either you get that bullshit, or they'd be like, oh yeah, like, why don't you just apply to these like pre-approved programs or whatever the frick, like in Far Rockaway in the Bronx, because like we were saying at the beginning, okay, they love putting people in Far Rockaway in the Bronx. I don't know if it's kickbacks or what it is. It's just like they got like a major hard on.
There's a planned communities where they actually it's a new form of
They
apartheid,
got some
just so
kind
you
of
know.
like they got some kind of like huge hard on for like moving people to Far Rockaway in the Bronx. It's like you'd
I'm
be
about
talking.
to go investigate that.
It's,
I'm
it's
going
not
to Far
even.
Rockaway.
It's not
What's
even
up?
like
Let's go.
Manhattan or something.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, I'm thinking about Brooklyn or Queens or like Manhattan or like any place other than Bronx or
Okay,
like
so
Far Rockaway.
enough
It's like,
that
they ain't getting
actually
it.
later today, I might even live stream from out there. I'm going to Far Rockaway out there today to talk to people in public housing out there and other people. There's someone from the city, from the homeless shelter. I wonder if she's back now. She just went on a trip, but she said that she's supposed to be back now, and I'm supposed to be investigating Far Rockaway. So I'm gonna see what's going on.
Yeah, well,
out
that
there.
stuff is for real, man. You better
Yo,
bring
I'm
your
going
footage.
out there,
Forget
man.
about
Let's
it.
go see what's up, man.
That's right.
All right, so
And
basically,
believe
I
me,
think,
you ain't gonna find all the you ain't gonna find all the cockroaches under the rocks with just one trip. I guarantee, okay? I
know.
guarantee. Like you
Yeah.
undercover one rock and you see like 1,000 cockroaches. You think, oh, that's got to be it.
You said it briefly
No.
earlier. I can't talk
No,
about public housing
they're
in
gonna be
15 minutes.
more.
We can't cover this all in 15 minutes. This is gonna be an ongoing series.
That's right.
And you know, people that want some easy shit, go watch, like, not hating, but go watch Jules Turpak and Andrew Yang. But if you want real fucking investigation into this shit, you watch this channel.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
Andrew
If you really
Yang,
give a shit, watch this
he ain't
shit,
gonna
you know
come
what I
off his thing. You know what I'm saying? He got his own journey, but his
Yeah.
journey does not involve like, you know, like getting people to public housing.
Talking to people, yeah.
He's gonna
shit.
kind of like, you know, sell people out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Anyways, yeah.
got nothing against the man. You know, like
I got
politicians
you.
are politicians.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's politicians that's gonna make a change, and there's kind of
True.
politicians that won't.
That
And
won't,
that's just
yeah.
how it is. All right, so we're gonna cut the video. We good,
Cut
right?
the video, man. Yo, thanks
I
for checking
think-
it out. This is one of the
I
realest
think, you
ones
know, like
right
the
here.
point
Yeah.
was made. That's
Yeah.
right.
Appreciate